Welcome back to Movies That Matter, the podcast where entertainment is subjective, and that's not a bad thing. I'm Chris Flaherty, and thank you for joining us from the podcast studio at Burlington Cable Access Television. I hope you're enjoying your summer. Today we'll be discussing a recent favorite of mine and my guests, The Wild Robot, which was released by Universal Studios and Dreamworks Animation on September 27th, 2024. It was directed by Chris Sanders, who also wrote the screenplay, which was based on the novel Peter Brown, not to be confused with The Local Weatherman. And the film stars the voices of Lupita Nyong'o, Pedro Pascal, Kit Connor, and Bill Nye, among others. And now I would like to welcome back my guest today, who's here to talk the film with me, my friend Liz Gillespie, a graduate now of the class of 2025 at UC Davis with a degree in biomedical engineering, a longtime volunteer here at Burlington Cable TV, cinema fan like other guests on the show, a frequent collaborator in my public access shenanigans, joining us remotely this time, all the way from California.
Woo!
How are you, friend?
I am good. I'm having a great time. You know what's weird? What occurred to me while you were talking right there? Because the first episode that we ever did was right after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
So the growth of this podcast has gone through my entire college experience. And now I'm out on the other side. Right as I was going into college, and here we are, several episodes later.
Yeah, this is your 11th episode, by the way.
Ooh!
Yeah. And it's episode 44, so you literally are... Well, you're the OG, the original guest.
I got a quarter of the podcast.
And you got a solid quarter of the podcast, rightfully so. And I'm glad that you brought this episode, or this movie for your next episode, because I love this movie, and I will never stop talking about it.
Truly, it was when we decided that we were going to do this episode remotely, and I was just like, what's a good movie? This movie came to me instantaneously, and I could not come up with any other ideas. I was like, this is the one to talk about. This is what we're going to do. Because even if we didn't do it today, we're going to do it eventually.
Yeah.
It's happening. This is an important one.
It's here. We're here. Okay.
Here we are.
All right, Liz, as per usual, in your own words, tell us what The Wild Robot is about.
So The Wild Robot is the story of Roz, the robot, as she washes up away from her corporation up on this island. And her, as a robot, she is just an assistant robot supposed to be in somebody's house, help them with any tasks they could possibly need, and they communicate, do this, she'll do it for you. But since she's on this island, there's no people around to tell her what to do, and so she is trying to figure out what the animals need, what they do for her. She learns to communicate with them, and they all see her as a monster originally, because she's a robot and not an animal. But accidentally, she stumbles on this egg and is now stuck parenting this little gosling. And through the duration of the movie is her learning how to be a mother for this gosling and her befriending all of the animals that are on this island, and she becomes the Wild Robot.
Stumble upon the egg is a nice choice of words.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
There it is.
I mean, she definitely stumbled, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, and this movie gets kind of dark every now and then.
It really does.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, with the premise of, she accidentally killed his family. And now she has... Or as she says, I accidentally terminated his family. Then the fox is like, maybe don't tell him that.
No.
Yeah.
Not the right way to go about that.
No.
This movie I was just thinking about it this morning. I was like, this is an impressive movie to be considered like a children's movie. Like, it's an animated story, and it's PG, so children are the primary demographic for it. But the story just as a whole, like, if you were to just talk about the story of a robot parenting, like, that's not a child concept.
No.
Necessarily. Like, just, you have, like, learning to parent is not something that you would expect, like, a 9-year-old to really grasp to.
No.
But it's also, like, a very child-friendly story necessarily, because, like, oh, look, it's the animals in the forest. But, like, if you're watching it, you're like, this is the story of somebody learning to become a mother.
Yeah. She says, I do not have the programming to be a mother, and then the possum's like, nobody does. We just make it up as we go along.
That is truly one of my favorite quotes in the entire movie.
Yeah.
Like, that is such a good, like, representation for what the story is, for how life works necessarily. You make it up as you go.
Yeah. You could take so much from this movie, and I feel like it's one of those movies that, like, the kids that saw it now, when they get older, they'll understand it a little bit more, or they'll take away more from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you remember the first time you heard about this film?
I do, actually, and it was because you texted me about it.
Oh, was it me? Okay.
It was you. I hadn't heard of it at all, and in fact, I went back through our text last night to find the exact quotes, because I thought it was a very fun conversation that we had. It starts off with just you going, on Friday, September 27th, I am begging you to go see The Wild Robot.
Yeah.
And I was like, deal. You didn't have to say anything else. I just responded, deal. And I think I immediately Googled it, and I'm like, I love the art style that I'm looking at. And you sold me really quickly by saying, it's like if Bambi and Wally had a baby, and that baby was Baymax.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I sent a collection of emojis, and you just went, I knew that would get you. And I made it my mission from there that I knew that I was going to go see it. That was during fall quarter, so I was constantly busy, so I didn't have time to go see it in theater. So when I finally saw it for the first time, it was while I was home for winter break, and I watched it at home with my parents. And I really wish that I had gotten to see this in theater, because I feel like seeing this on a big screen would even, like, add to the experience just that much more. I think that I had a very good experience with watching it, because it gave me a different perspective, but just, like, for the cinematic appeal of it, seeing it on the big screen would have been just, like, that would have hit.
Yeah.
That would have been fantastic.
It's a beautiful film just to look at. Like, I feel like it's 3D animated, but it's kind of like it's the Spider-Verse style, where, like, it looks like it's painted on.
Exactly, yeah. One of the things that, like, really makes it stand out to me specifically is that I think I watched the entire movie not really registering that it was a DreamWorks movie. Like, I feel like DreamWorks itself has such a very distinct style when you think of, like, Shrek or Puss in Boots or Madagascar or, like, the Bee Movie. All of their, like, really big, like, DreamWorks hits. Think of this as, like, the DreamWorks style. Like, this feels very much like a more independent film.
Yeah.
Like a DreamWorks film.
I heard someone say this is the most Pixar film DreamWorks has ever made. And I'm like, I kind of get that. I do.
Can see that. But even then, I feel like it would transcend, like, Pixar almost, too. Because it doesn't feel very Pixar. But it's, like, it kind of rides the line of it, where it's, like, it kind of has, like, the Pixar-y kind of, like, emotional development to it. But it also doesn't feel like a Pixar movie, necessarily. Like, it feels like they took this, like, the concept for the movie and went, we're going to make this ourselves, and DreamWorks is just going to be the guys to back it.
Maybe. I mean, it's directed by Sanders, and obviously they have faith in Sanders because he did How to Train Your Dragon. But that's, like, the weird beauty of DreamWorks, where they can do, like, The Wild Robot and Shrek and Prince of Egypt, and then, hey, Jerry Seinfeld's a bee.
Exactly. Like, you never really know what you're going to get from a DreamWorks movie.
No, you don't. Like, it's nuts. And I think the one that came after this was Kung Fu Panda 4. Which, like, I mean, like, you would have thought that would have been great. Not so much. I mean,
Kung Fu Panda movie. People like the Kung Fu Panda movies.
We do like the Kung Fu Panda movies. I didn't really like Kung Fu Panda 4, but that's another podcast. So
movies that don't matter.
Yeah. So what really stuck out with you when you first watched it, or when you keep watching it? This,
like I was saying, like my experience with watching it, while I would have loved to have seen it on a big screen, I really appreciated the way that I did watch it, because I watched it, I believe, the day before I came back to school for winter quarter. So I was at home, I was with both my parents, so like this is a movie very much about like finding your family, finding your love, growing up, and like realizing the importance of the people around you. And I'm sitting on my couch, my mother on my left, my father on my right, and my cat directly next to me as well. And so it was one of those cases where, especially like this movie hit very well for me, in the case of like, okay, these are my parents, and I'm about to go back to school. I'm flying out of the nest myself, necessarily. And one of the things that like a lot of people talk about is like leaving the nest and going to college for the first time.
Yeah.
Like that's a very big step for the child, for the parents.
Sure.
Other thing, when it's like you're going to college for the last time. Because that's a brand new leaving nest.
Damn.
That's a brand new nest you're leaving. Like, you still kind of have this bubble around you when you're in college, where it's like, you know that you have all of these resources with you on your campus. You have the ability to get food easily. You have the ability to, you're still with your parents in a way where you're protected that way. But once you're out of college, you've now lost like another element of that. You are flying freer even then. That's another step. And I don't think people really think about that unless you are someone actively leaving college.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there is a huge shift from when you're in college to then you're out in the real world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 years goes really fast, and you don't feel the transition while you're going through it, but when you're on the other end of it, you're like, oh my God, how did I get here? I'm now even freer than I feel like I'm supposed to be. I feel more like I need help than ever, but you know that you're an adult, and you're like, yeah, I need to figure this out, and I have to go and do it, but I've never wanted my parents' support more than I have at this point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm thinking about when like he first goes when when Bright Bill first goes for the migration, and he asks for the boost. And that's probably like
that scene right there.
Yeah.
Tears.
Yeah.
Like, oh, and truly, you're just like, he's capable, but he still wants that just a little extra. He wants like just mom's support. Like, that's special.
Yeah. And he's kind of at that point where he's like kind of reluctant about his relationship with Roz because he is aware now that like he's not like her actual kid, and like she terminated his family. Again, very dark for a kids movie. And then like I noticed last night when I was watching it, the parallel of when she leaves at the end, and then he's flying and he's watching her leave, and I'm like, oh, damn.
That one hits.
Yeah. A lot of it really hits. I just can't, like, there's so much to unpack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's layers on layers in this. But the other thing that, like, especially during that particular experience, was, that was before I was planning to come home for the summer or anything like that. That was just, I'm going back to school, and I have no specific plans at that time for when the next time I'll be home is. And I have 2 cats, and both of them are crippled old men at this point. I got them when I was going into first grade, and so that means I was 6, I believe. I'm 22 now. They are 16 years old, and for a cat, that's old. They are old. They're a little brittle. They're a little tired, but they're like my children almost. Like I took and even like my dog, Jesse, who passed away 3 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of you realize, like, owning a pet is very similar in this case, where you're like, I am parenting this child. Like, I'm taking care of it. They cannot survive without me. But you also have, like, this very special bond of, like, look at this little ball of orange fur. We can't talk to each other. We have no real, like, connection.
Yeah.
But we both understand that we love each other. And you're like, that connection is so special, even though, like, we are not the same. There's nothing that makes us the same, necessarily, which you could apply to Roz and Brightbill. You have a robot who is trying to figure out what they're doing, why are they on this island, what's going on, and Brightbill who's just trying to grow up, trying to feel like he's a normal goose in his own right, and just moving on, trying to grow up. And I guess you can kind of apply that in a way, like, Peter is my cat who just wants to be left alone. He wants to just wander around the house, be fed, do his own thing. I'm trying to grow up, do my own thing, but at the same time, I'm like, that is my child. I love him so much. I'm going to do anything in my power to care for this cat.
It's your task. That's your task. Your task.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's my task. I have to make sure my cat's okay.
Yeah.
And when he eventually is old and leaves, that's going to be the most devastating thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
So, like, we have no connection necessarily, but that is my world. Like, that is such a, like, you don't think about how powerful, like, finding a weird connection like that is until you see it. You experience it yourself, but you don't think about it that much. And then you see it and you're like, oh, that's what this is like.
Yeah. That's a big theme in the movie that I really love, is the idea of community and found family.
Yes.
Like, it's not just Roz and Brightbill. It's like they form this little weird mother, daughter, son formation with Fink the fox.
Yep.
And then, like, obviously Fink grows to love Roz.
Exactly.
And then, like, she brings this whole island together of, like, natural enemies.
I love the kind of shift from right at the beginning where they're all like, that is a monster. Like, they all collect, like, monster, stay away. That's going to kill us. That's going to be the end of our island. That's going to be the end of our society as we know it.
Yeah.
And once she is gone and things kind of start to come to a collapse, they're like, Roz, we need to protect her. We need to find her again. She's ours. She belongs here. This is her community. We don't know what we would do without her.
I was just thinking about what you said about, like, how you and your cat, like, you can't understand each other, but there's a connection. Like, at the end, they take out, like, Roz's, like, memories, I guess. And then, like, but even, like, Bright Bill says, like, what happened wasn't your fault. I love you, Mom. And, like, she wakes up and she remembers him. And then she's like, I heard you. That was a part of me that didn't exist before. And that will still exist because they couldn't find it. And then obviously at the end, like, I'm crying because, like, she's like, you can call me Roz. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And I do, like, when I first saw the trailer for this film, they were very careful in hiding the fact that the animals talked. And I always wondered, like, why that was. Because maybe they were trying to, like, show that it was a more sophisticated film. Because for some reason when, like, animals talk in a film, that's, like, lowbrow. And part of me, when I was, like, before I saw the film, I was like, I kind of wish the animals wouldn't talk in this movie. And I'm very glad that they do now, and I guess karma kind of hit me about animals talking and not talking in films come the Oscars later, which we'll talk about. But I love the fact of how they explain the animals talk in this film.
I do too.
Because she takes the time to understand them. That was, like, really clever, and I really appreciated that.
I love the exposition of this movie is truly one of my favorite just sort of expositions in a movie that I've ever seen. She arrives on the island. You kind of are following her POV of just walking around and kind of like, oh, there's a crab. What does this crab need? Or it's a being. What does this being need? The crab can't talk to her. So she's like, okay, what are you doing? You're climbing up the side of this cliff. Okay, I can morph myself. I'm trying to relate to you. I'm going to do this thing with you. And then obviously the crab doesn't. She's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So she kind of just moves on. She kind of does this with every other creature that she comes into contact with, where she's like, okay, you can't speak to me. What could I do to kind of relate to you in this sense? And then when she realizes that she can download, like, this kind of just of, like, okay, let me learn and then you just see her, like, sit and, like, reboot and think about kind of it, and then, like, come into it. Just the beginning exposition, I think, is so smart. Like, it's just so well done.
Yeah.
It's just, you see exactly the thought process. Like, it builds the movie so well, in my opinion.
Yeah. And I do love, like, when you see her, like, running with the deer, and she's trying to run with the deer. Like, it's very clever in that sense. And I keep thinking about the crab that probably wish she could have talked to Roz. Remember, like, she's holding the crab. I'm just like, do you need? And then the bird just comes and swipes the crab away. I'm like, assistance? Oh, not anymore.
Nope. If only you could have assisted, like, 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. And they're, like, we touched on a little bit. How do you feel about all the dark humor in this film?
Oh, I loved it. Truly. Yeah. I'm struggling to come up with specific examples, but I remember just, like, sitting and watching it being like, this is such an interesting, like, well-written movie. And you're giggling a bit with my parents, and I'm just like, this is kind of just a random movie for us to be watching right now, but, like, everything is really funny. Yeah.
I love the fact that, like, she holds Bright Bill up as a baby, and she's like, fly, and she just launches him. And then a hawk just swings by and takes it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
And then the possums. Oh my God, the possums.
Love the possums, dude.
The mother. As a mother of 7, and then you hear a bear in the background and screams. And then she's like, 6. I'm like, wow. And
I love arguments with the beaver that's trying to get the tree down, and he just keeps like dealing with the tree the whole movie. I'm like, what are you doing?
The child voice actors in this movie are incredible. Like like, are you here to kill us? Like, it says it's not here to kill us. And then the freaking moose just bull rushes them. Or like when they're trying to like get everyone to be quiet in the hut, and then like the little otter goes, "The jerk wants to speak." I'm like okay.
That's such a good line.
There's just I'm looking at my notes right now. When they kill the robot. Well, they kill the robots that come to get Ross. Let us divide the robot meat amongst us. And I'm like, you are a child. And I think it's good to see, like, when I saw this film, I took a gamble. I saw this Friday opening night, and I knew there was going to be a ton of families. And you have to wonder in this day and age, like, are children going to, like, be traumatized by this dark humor? And no, they weren't. They were laughing the entire time. And I'm like, perfect. Treat our kids. Our kids can handle it.
It's such a Gen Z kind of written movie as well. Like, it's the way that, like, the dark humor is just... Because it's so, like, fast-paced when it is there.
Yeah.
Like, it just kind of hits you. Like, you're just like, oh... Like, I think that kind of humor is so funny. So to watch, like, the evolution of humor in a movie to become, like, kind of appealing to Gen Z or Gen Alpha or, like, being into, like, the new generations of humor as well, with how just abrupt something can be funny. Like, I think that just really elevates how well a movie can be done.
Yeah.
It's also I love watching, like, being Gen Z myself and, like, knowing, like, online humor and then just kind of watching movies try to appeal to that kind of similar style in a way, but like it feels like it's growing with times and also like understanding what kids want more, but not just necessarily kids, just like what is the brand of humor that people these days enjoy. And I think that they did a very good job with it, because I feel like dark humor is such a very big part of people's humor these days. If they tried to nix the dark humor from it, I don't think it would have worked as well. I don't think people would have enjoyed it as much.
The film reminded me a lot of, I don't know if you know who Don Bluth is.
The name sounds familiar.
Like Anastasia, Secret of Nim, Land Before Time. Yeah.
Yep.
He left Disney in the 80s and went to go live his best life, and all of his films were very darker, like more mature. And this film reminded me a lot of his work. Yeah.
It's been a very long time since I've seen Anastasia, but I know that, like, that's, like, when you look at the art style for it, you're like, that could be a Disney movie. But when you, like, know the premise of it, you're like, that's not a Disney movie.
And full circle moment here, like, Don Bluth is kind of like DreamWorks in a sense, too, because, like, he has very dark and, like, more mature movies. And then there's one with a troll that's, like, lost in Central Park. Just look that one up. It's great.
Troll in Central Park?
A Troll in Central Park. It's awesome.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. A Troll in Central Park. It's so good. It's so good.
I feel like I'll enjoy that. Just based on the title alone.
No. Don't do it. Any characters that are your favorites in this film? Obvious question.
I love Roz, obviously. Because clearly I have a fixation for movies that center around robots that are trying to help you.
Yeah.
True full circle moment, first ever episode, 10 episodes later, going from talking about Baymax to talking about Roz.
Nice.
So clearly, I enjoy movies that center around robots here to help you.
Yeah.
I think there's so many movies about robots that are here to kill you and here to take over your lives.
Yeah.
That it's kind of refreshing to see movies that are actually centered around robots that are trying to help you find your purpose and make you feel good.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me because I don't remember how deeply we talked about it at the time, but it's a thing that stands out to me about why I like Big Hero 6 so much, is that I'm in biomedical engineering, and I don't think you can get more biomedical engineering than Baymax as a character.
Yeah.
Like, that's a feat of engineering, a feat of medical engineering here to help you. And I think it's different because Roz isn't necessarily, like, medical driven.
No.
But I do really like the idea of engineering being shown as a thing that's supposed to help you. Like, not just like, oh, mad scientists. I feel like that's kind of something that comes out the woodwork a lot of, like, science is here to harm you. Or, like, engineering is here to cause the demise of the future.
And that's the beginning of the film. Everyone thinks the robot's there to kill her. Or kill everybody. Yeah.
I did a project my second year here. And it was a class that I thought sounded cool when I first signed up for it. And that, I don't know if I told you about this or not. I'm sure I did. But the premise of the class, I think my professor was a conspiracy theorist about how robots were here to kill us. And so I had to make my final project like a kind of a documentary style, similar to some of the other things I've made, but about how, like, engineering is like the downfall of society almost. Like, robots are going to kill us almost. And how it's seen in film. Yeah. It was a class. I'll tell you more about it later.
I remember you telling me about this. I'd like to see it someday. If I still
have it, I can find it. I can show it to you. But it's just such a, like, weird concept where because that class made you realize, like, how many movies that are about the future, or, like, science fiction necessarily movies, are all about kind of how robots are here to take over, how they're bad, how they are not, how they pretend to be useful, but how they're actually just, like, here to tear you apart. So it's kind of refreshing when it's a sci-fi movie, but it's meant to be uplifting.
Yeah.
I think this movie especially is really nice in that sense because it talks about a lot of concepts that are seen as bad, but also, like, refreshingly takes on it. Like, this movie is such an environmentalist movie as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, how they emphasize that, like, their island means so much to them. Like, just, like, especially at the end when everything's, like, burning down and they're losing their home. Like, they're emphasizing how, like, some robots are there to, like, a robot, but they're also here to help you. Like, they can't live on the island without Roz, but they're also, like, some robotics are used against you, but not all.
Yeah. There's a lot of, like, there's definitely an argument about, like, nature versus nurture, or, like, programming versus nurturing in this movie that I really like. And we've definitely talked about a few movies where, like, the main character is sort of discovering their humanity a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking, like, Barbie, who's just, like, a doll, and then at the end, like, she wants to become, like, part of something that matters. And it's kind of like what Roz goes through. She becomes more human than other robots.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like a little, like, sci-fi Pinocchio story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite scenes or moments from the film?
I know we've already talked about it, but truly, the scene right at the end where he's like, I would love a boost, and he gets on her arm and they start running. Any of the scenes with that kind of, like, element to it, there's so many scenes of just, like, the leaves floating around them as they do things. Like, you can see just, like, colors boosting in, and you can just see life.
Like the wide shot of, like, when all the birds are flying and, like, she's running. It's, like, almost just, like, it almost becomes abstract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where it's like this is like going back to, like, just how beautiful the movie is. Like, I don't think we've emphasized how incredible the animation of this movie is.
No.
Like, I know that you mentioned, like, it's very Spider-Verse style, because it is. But they do such a good job, especially in scenes like that one where, like, they're giving the boost, going to the wide shot. Like that, like, just kind of tangentially. This movie really makes you appreciate animation in a sense of, this movie would absolutely be nothing if they tried to make it live action, in my opinion. I think they would lose so much heart and soul of this movie if they tried to do it in a more live action setting.
You're getting ahead of me a little bit.
I know. I'm getting ahead of you. We can get there again later. But I think just, like, the way that the animation of this movie, like, scenes like that, really, I think the other scene that I really, really appreciate is when Braypo's going off with, or, like, meets up with Bill Nye's character, who I'm forgetting the name of right now.
Longneck.
Thank you. Where they kind of are, like, giving him lessons, and he kind of has, like, this new mentor figure who's kind of similar to him, and how
is it Longneck or is it Thunderbolt?
I think
Longneck is the goose that leads the migration, and then Thunderbolt's
I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm confusing two scenes. Basically,
both great characters.
Both great characters. I think I really appreciate the mentorship that he gets from all of these characters. I think that's quite. Both of them, metaphorically and literally, kind of taking Bright Bill under his wing, and like really making him realize his full potential.
Yeah,
as he learns to fly, and just putting him out there, giving somebody who's similar to him, understands his experience, and is treating him like somebody who should be seen as his potential. Like allowing him to actually learn to fly. Like it's heartbreaking when in the scene earlier on where he's like trying to go up to make friends and they are all just like, oh, you're raised by the monster.
Yeah.
And they're like making fun of him because he didn't have the traditional upbringing of be like having like family around him like that. It's just like, what? Leave him alone. He's learning just like the rest of you.
Yeah. He's doing his best with like the robot noises he makes, or like he says hello in multiple languages.
It's like, well, just because he was raised a little differently than you doesn't mean that he's any less of a goose than you.
Right.
Like they are judging him for what they know about him. He's a little different, but they don't see his potential or anything like that. They just see him as, oh, you're different. Get out of here.
And then he ends up saving them all in the end, really.
Exactly.
He has a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love Bright Bill. So cute.
And then I love like when they come back and you can hear one of them like, I always believed in you, Bright Bill. I'm like, okay.
That's like the case of
Rudolph's dad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bullied you as a kid and then you became famous and they're like, yeah, no.
Oh yeah.
I love when you do like you bullied me in high school. I know. You can have as much humility as you would like. But if they don't deserve it, they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I already know the answer. Who among the voice cast really sticks out? It's a stacked cast.
It's such a good cast in general. First of all, I love Catherine O'Hara so much.
Yeah.
Love Catherine O'Hara so much. I don't think there could have been anybody better to cast as the Possum Mother than Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah.
As a big Schitt's Creek fan, I think she's a perfect cast for that.
Yeah.
Because, like, obviously Moira Rose isn't necessarily, like, the greatest maternal figure.
No. No, she's not.
But somehow, hearing Moira's voice as kind of, like, the mother that tells you you make it up as you go, and, like, you learn, especially, like, I think it just works very well.
Yeah.
Like, I think Catherine O'Hara just has a very good voice for that. One of the things I was thinking about was that this movie, like, especially with the way that it is cast, really brings up the conversation of, like, celebrity voice actors.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, people dogging on Chris Pratt for being voiced in everything. I know we've talked about it enough.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the case of, like, celebrity voice casting works when it's done correctly.
Yes.
Not just, like, it's good to find other voice actors actually get people in there, but and shoving a celebrity in there just to try to build the appeal doesn't work. But they didn't do that with this movie, in my opinion. Like, they actually found people who were very well appropriate for their roles.
Yeah.
I love Lupita Nyong'o so much. I didn't even know it was her as Roz until looking it up after the movie, I think.
Oh, really? Wow.
I don't remember. I don't think I knew that when I opened the movie for the first time. I might have looked it up in the middle of the movie, but I was like, I love her. I love her in everything I've ever seen her in. And I think that she just is she does a great job as Roz.
Yeah.
But it's not like I didn't watch this movie because I love her. Or, like, I love Pedro Pascal as well. I didn't even know he was Fink until I heard him. I'm like, that's Pedro Pascal. I know that.
Yeah, I would say Pedro Pascal is the most, like, probably, like, the biggest, like, name grab in the movie.
Oh, definitely.
Because, you know, he's...
And, like, people watch this movie because they're like, oh, it's Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal just happens to be in the movie and does a good job of it. Like, I think that kind of applies to almost, like, I think especially with, like, the child actors they had as well. Like, I know Kit Connor is, like, kind of my age as well. But even then, like, he does a good job with, like, making Bright Bill, like, grow up with you, like, as a younger actor. So I think that, like, everyone who was cast for this movie was an appropriate casting. They weren't just, like, throwing names in there to throw names in there.
Right.
They actually got like the right people for all voices.
I remember when I was watching it, and I was like, I knew Mark Hamill was in this movie, and I'm like halfway through, I'm like, where is he? Because he's not. And then I'm like, oh, he's the bear. He's gonna be the bear, and there he was.
Oh yeah,
and it was perfect. Like just a little Mark Hamill cameo.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I just love at the end. It's like, I'm chasing you again tomorrow, right? Just kidding.
Just kidding. Every person that was cast for this one, like, I love, like, Ving Rhames. Like, any person who was put in this movie, I think they did, like, what they needed to. Perfect.
And even if, like, Ving Rhames' voice when you hear it.
Exactly.
But it still works because you're looking for, like, a small mentor that is, like, tough.
Exactly. Like, you're kind of watching it, not, like, thinking about any of the actors necessarily. That's just, like, a fun thing that you're like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
I love that guy. Like, that's kind of how I reacted to every voice that I heard. It's like, oh, I love that guy. I didn't watch it for the appeal of knowing that guy was in it.
Right.
I found it later and went, oh, that's awesome that they got that guy for it.
I just remember cracking up when Ving Rhames' voice came out of that hawk. Especially because, like, it's the second time last year where he just, like, came out of nowhere in an animated movie and just stole the show.
Oh, yeah. What was the other one?
The Garfield movie. Where he plays, like, the aged-out, grumpy mascot of a dairy farm. He's, like, a grumpy old bull. And, like, I just remember, like, I'm like, if this movie had more of him, I'd give it an extra star on Letterboxd.
Oh, that would have been awesome. That's a great example of a movie that did use celebrity voice acting as trying to pull it in, though. Getting Chris Pratt as Garfield.
Not only Chris Pratt as Garfield, Samuel L. Jackson as Garfield's dad.
Dude, are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. It doesn't make any sense.
I think I need to go bite the bullet and watch the Garfield movie just to kind of...
You probably should.
Realize how insane it is.
It's... my conspiracy theory is, like, someone said, like, I have this really cute animated film idea about a cat reconnecting with his estranged father. And someone was like, oh, it's an original idea. I don't know if we could sell that. What if we made it Garfield? And I'm like, all right.
Okay. That's a great example of people just trying to take the notoriety and run with it. So they took, oh, everybody knows Garfield. Everybody knows Chris Pratt. Let's put those two things together and try to get people to find the thing that they recognize, which is really nice about this movie. I didn't know it was a book. I didn't know any of the marketing stuff leading up to it. I didn't pay attention to who the actors were in it. But either way, like, when this movie did finally get advertised to me, even after you had texted me about it, I watched it and I was like, there is nothing that I want to do more than watch this movie because it's gorgeous. It actually has some appeal to it that isn't just, oh, I know Chris Pratt. I like Chris Pratt. I'm going to go watch for Chris Pratt. And he's like, no, I'm going to watch it because this looks beautiful. Like, this looks like it would be a fun story. It looks like it has things that would draw me in that aren't just some other kind of notoriety.
Yeah. But...
watching for the story element and not just for the, nostalgia or
it's
something.
Chris Pratt as Garfield. And we're getting a sequel to that.
I'm so excited for Garfield, too.
I'm going to make that. I'm going to make a declaration right now, or rather a prediction.
Okay.
John Cena is going to be somewhere in that sequel.
You know what? I think you're right.
And I'm going to make a really bold claim that he's going to be Odie's dad.
Oh, no.
I don't know why. I just feel that in my heart and my gut that John Cena is going to play Odie's dad.
You know what? You've spoken that into existence. I can see that too well, I think.
Yeah.
I think I can see that.
I've probably damned us all.
Loud and clear.
Oh. Now I'm just hearing it in my head. I want to talk about the Wild Robot more.
Moving on, back to the Wild Robot.
Have you shared this film with anyone since you've watched it? Like, have you rewatched and introduced it to anybody?
So I don't know if I was responsible for this, but I do remember talking to Katie, my roommate, about it before. And I don't remember if I was the one that introduced her to it, but I do remember she told our friend Jacqueline about it, and our friend Jacqueline watched it while we were on the plane back from Vegas this year. So So kind of, I feel like, because I remember, I don't think Katie had watched it before I had talked about it, but I don't know if I was responsible for inciting her to watch it. But knowing that the chain of, like, my friends watched it later, and I got a text from Jacqueline later being like, this movie is incredible. This movie is beautiful. Like, she was like, I cried. I was like, yeah. It's fantastic. So even if it wasn't necessarily me being responsible for it, me kind of just being like, you are doing the right thing watching this. Please finish that movie. You will enjoy it. You will love it. You will cry. It is fantastic. And knowing that, like, my friends around me watched it and loved it as well, because I feel like a lot of my friends, I don't want to say none of them are really as film passionate as me, or, well, I guess that's the nicer way to say it. I feel like they don't care as much about, like, pop culture stuff as I do in certain senses. So for them to actually have seen and, like, watched this movie and really appreciated it as well, it made me really happy knowing that, like, even if it wasn't my responsibility for telling them to go watch this movie, it's a movie that was big enough that people who don't care in the same realm as I do were able to watch it and connect with it and enjoy it in a very similar sense that I did.
Yeah.
Even if you just watch it on a plane, like, you still have to watch it. I think she started it on the plane and then finished it later.
Okay. I remember, like, when it was coming out, Mike Espejo was in, and his foster son had read the book and wanted to go to the movie. And I was like, dude, that's going to be such a good movie. You have no idea. And then, like, I posted on my status, like, after I saw it, like, best animated movie of the year, give it the Oscar now. And he commented, I'm like, dude, it's so good. You can't wait. Just go. Take him right now.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
bet it would be interesting to take your foster son to it as well. Like,
oh my god, yeah. And then I remember my mother called me on a Saturday night, and she's like, I don't know what to watch. What about this robot movie? I'm like, watch it.
Yep, that's the one.
Yep.
You're good at watching that.
And she's like, oh, it's an animated movie. It's a kid's movie. I'm like, no, what have I told you? Animation is not just for kids.
Put down and watch it. I actually, when we did watch it, like, obviously I wanted to watch it, but I think it was my mom's idea that night to watch it.
Oh,
like,
okay.
she opened it. It was one of the first ones that came up. She's like, this looks cute. And I went, yep, it does. I think she was the one that said, we could watch this. And I went, I was the one that went, yes, we are watching it. And then my dad was also here, and he was like, I'll watch it. And I was like, you're going to like it, Dad. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, Dad. You'll enjoy it. I promise.
Happy to report that my mother did enjoy it. She called me afterward. I could hear the tears. I'm like, God. Yeah. I can't imagine what it's like to watch that movie as a mother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure that would be very special. I think my mom really enjoyed it. Yeah. I think she appreciated it a lot. And
then my friend Johnny, he took his daughter to see it, and it was her first movie in the theaters. He had, like, they gave her a certificate, which is incredible. And I'm like, I wanted that when I first saw a movie in theaters.
That's so cute.
And I remember it was hanging up in his salon, and I'm like, what's that for? He's like, oh, because they gave it to Polly when she saw her first movie. I'm like, what did she see? And he's like, we saw the wild robot. And I'm like, and it just went from there.
That's incredible. That's adorable. I love that.
Good for AMC, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I just love that that's someone's first movie they've seen in theaters.
Right?
We've already talked about Baymax and Big Hero 6, but how do you think this film is a reflection of your taste in movies?
I went and thought about it. I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but I remember while I was scrolling through the list of questions, I looked at the list that you had at the end of all of the movies that I had come on here and talk about.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that question later. But I remember looking at it, and I realized that there's one very specific thing that I can tie each of those movies together with, and that is that the general theme of every single one of those is finding what you care about.
I'm just checking my list.
Is that the general...
Yeah, damn, wow.
Every single one of those movies, if you really, truly boil down, like, every movie to their, like, bare level, like, what the message of it is, it's finding what you care about. Yeah. Big Hero 6. Hero loses something, he finds Baymax, he finds that he cares about the people around him, he finds that he cares about helping people, he realizes what his passions are, he finds what he truly cares about, and the people he cares about. La La Land is the story of figuring out what you care about and who you care about, and how those relationships match with each other. Same with Guardians. Every single one of them has lost something, and they're looking to find what they care about ultimately, and that happens to be each other and helping people.
Found family again.
Another found family kind of story.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing Spider-Man. Same deal. Peter's looking to find what he cares about and how that balances with it within his life. How to care for Gwen, how to care for being Spider-Man, how to care for helping people. It's entirely Kingsman. Kingsman is the prime example of being lost and finding what it is that you care about. A lot of these stories really are connected. Fat Man even falls into that almost. Because that's what the story is, essentially.
It's about reclaiming his passion for his job.
Exactly. He loses his way. He kind of loses the spirit of Christmas. But ultimately, what is he passionate about? It's making children believe in the joy of Christmas. Finding that it really is about giving. It's not just about being just a little brat and getting presents. It's about the Christmas spirit and finding your passion for that. So every single one of those movies, no matter how randomly they come together, each of them really does boil down to the idea of finding what it is you are passionate about, what you care about, and how the people around you relate to what you care about. And that doesn't necessarily have to be people. Sometimes they're just raccoons.
Yep. Sometimes they're just raccoons.
Sometimes they're a raccoon.
No, very human stories. I like that.
And in all of those movies, like if you took the actual what the story is of all of them, they're so drastically different with the way that their stories are told. Some of them are animated and seen as kids movies. Some of them are Mel Gibson with a gun in the forest.
Fighting Walton Goggins.
Fighting Walton Goggins. Some of them are musical stories of the Hollywood passion. These are not movies that are all necessarily the same. But when you kind of take the human element of it, find what you care about, find your passion, they have a very common connection among all of them. And I think that human connection really emphasizes what makes all of these movies special.
Very nice. And that's kind of a perfect segue into my next question is, and it's something we've talked about quite a bit, what are some of the more important messages or themes of the film to you?
I really think that the finding who you are and where you belong, I think that is something that we have talked about a lot, especially I remember this was a major conversation back when we were talking about Guardians. Finding where you belong, finding who you belong with, even if you don't feel as though you belong there originally. Roz does not fit in on that island when she gets there, obviously. She's a robot. She's not meant to be out in nature. She's not meant to be a mother. She's not meant to be communicating with these animals. But by the end of the movie, they don't know what to do without her, so much so that they're willing to fight for her, even after calling her a monster for the entirety of the beginning of the movie. One of I don't know how I skipped this at the beginning. One of my favorite scenes of the entire movie is when she manages to get everyone into her little cave.
Yeah.
During the blizzard, or during the storm. She manages to save everyone on that island, but get them all together, and they manage to, they all hate each other, even, anyone that's, on each other. Not everyone gets along, but they all realize that they're meant to be in there together for their own sake.
Right.
And she did that for everyone. They have been against her the entire movie, but she was there. And, that's her task. Her task is to help. And so she came and helped everyone. And they're like, okay, we need to appreciate this.
Yeah.
And they got themselves together. I remember being like, that is such a great, what a beautifully done scene. What a well-done sequence of events.
Yeah. And then the shot at the end where they're all hugging. Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a very bold claim here. And, I'm sure I'm going to get flack for this from someone. But in the year of our undoing 2025, I can't help but feel or draw some comparisons to the immigration experience in this movie. Because she is an immigrant to that island by accident, and she is vilified by the inhabitants. And then by the end, they need her. They really, and she's part of the community. She wasn't born in that forest, but she becomes the wild robot. She becomes part of their family. So,
exactly.
This is where I turn the YouTube comments off.
This is something I heard in a stand-up comedy special, actually, but I think that it actually very emphasizes a point very succinctly and very well. And this is by a British comedian, so it's talking about Brexit, but I think it's applicable to American politics as well. It was, imagine your roommate asks you, do you want a cup of tea? And you say yes. And they ask you, do you want to leave the tea bag in or take the tea bag out? Well, there's a dilemma here. If you leave the tea bag in, it's just going to make a stronger cup of tea over time, and it'll dissolve and make the tea stronger, and that tea bag will just end up becoming a part of a very strong cup of tea. But if you take that tea bag out, you leave a very weak cup of tea, and the tea bag goes directly into the bin.
That's good. I like that.
Right? I thought it was a very well-spoken, like, random thing to come from a stand-up comic, but I was like, that actually is very smartly said, where you're stronger when you are together, and when you all realize that you have to work together on this, that if you just pull the plug and take it out, you're just going to leave yourself weaker than you are before and screw the one that you took out. Nobody wins in that situation.
I just realized
you win together.
There's a pretty bad part of, like, comparing Roz to the immigrant experience, because they try to take her back to where she came from at the end.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
And she decides to go willingly. And then you see how the community is like, what are we going to do without you? Yeah. Wow.
America, learn.
This movie is so layered.
It really is. This is a very powerful movie. There's so much that can be applied to this movie, to a point that, like, obviously it's made for children, because it's like, or it's child friendly, I think is the better way to say it. It's child friendly. But anyone can and should watch this movie, because there's so much to it. There's so much building. There's so much layers. There's so much power behind everything in this movie. Like, even beyond, like, the mothering, just your experience of anywhere you go, there's so much, like, political injustice and, like judgment around the world. You need to learn that to build your stronger community, you need to allow that person to build their strength, and you all become stronger together because of it. And if you yank them out, nobody wins.
Right. If I could quote the great Lin-Manuel Miranda, immigrants, we get the job done.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on from the politics of art, not that art has never not been political, how do you think this film compares to others directed by Chris Sanders? So Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon.
I think those are also very much movies about, especially those two. I actually just have a little Stitch on my desk. I just looked at him right here.
Oh, nice. Wow, that is adorable.
Right? He's super cute.
Yeah.
I think both of those movies especially are very much found family movies as well. All three of these movies involve a creature of some sort that is judged. Stitch, Toothless, Roz. All three of those are creatures who are kind of cast aside, seen as kind of villainized in a way, when all they want is to find their family. So there's very much, like, these are very different movies, but at the same time, they kind of all have the same premise of that sort.
Yeah. And then they team up with someone who is considered an outcast, like Lilo, Toothless, Brightbill. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just have to find that, they build their connection with the scene of Toothless and Hiccup, the handout realizing it's not there to hurt you. Roz kind of learning to become a mother in her sense. Stitch and Oana means family. So, like, the strength of family in all of these, and especially the growth over time throughout all of these movies of how family can grow. It's not just kind of, it starts with one connection and then builds to another and builds to another, where, like, How to Train Your Dragon, he gets Astrid on board, he gets his other friends on board, he gets the he gets his family, he gets his community, and then he gets the final hurdle of, like, his family. Everyone needs to understand that this is family. And that's very applicable to Wild Robot in the sense of, like, okay, she's got Fink, she's got Brightbill, that's her immediate family. okay, she can grow out a little bit. She can get the possums in the family who understand that she's not there to hurt them. She gets other creatures to a point that at the very end, that island, she is a part of that island. And to a point, Burke becomes dependent on dragons at the end of it.
Yeah, very much. Wow. How to Train Your Dragon, again, another wonderful film.
I'm really bad. I was supposed to go to How to Train Your Dragon Symphony in San Francisco.
Oh my god.
But my friend...
You know I love those movies with the symphonies. I would kill to see How to Train Your Dragon with a live orchestra.
My friend screwed up what the price was and then realized that the price was 3 times more expensive than she thought it was.
Oh my god. That's a lot.
She was looking at Child's Tickets by accident.
Oh. Okay, alright, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah. So it wasn't just like a total screw up, she was just reading the wrong price.
Okay.
But it was in San Francisco and that's quite a drive as well, so...
Yeah.
It would have been a bit of a commitment to go, but it would have been incredible to go see.
We haven't even talked about the music of this film.
Oh, true.
Like the theme, like it reminds me a lot of How to Train Your Dragon's theme, but it's not John Powell. It's like Chris Bowers or something. But that main theme is incredible. This is another movie I want to see with a live orchestra.
Ooh, I bet that would be really good. I feel like the music in this movie really does a good job of like emphasizing a lot of like any of the wide action scenes, anything sort of like big kind of things like it really like develops how powerful a lot of the scenes are with a lot of the connections that characters have.
Yeah. Oh, this would slap on IMAX.
Oh, it would.
Yeah.
I truly, like I said, I truly wish I could have seen this in theaters. I just missed my opportunity to. Re-release it in theaters, please.
Yeah. Well, but shout out to animated films where a local outcast befriends an alien or monster. Got to be one of my favorite genres.
But it works. If it works, it works. It's great.
Yeah.
Theme.
I do wonder someday, because Chris Sanders' last 2 animated films got remade into live action, if we'll ever see a live action Wild Robot.
Back to that conversation.
I
think it would lose so much of its depth and glory if it was made live action. I think it would be a Lion King. I think it would
definitely be a Lion King situation. Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it specifically, like the shots towards the end of all of the geese flying and migrating. Can you imagine that you're just watching a nature documentary at that point? Like that's fun in its own right, but that you don't get the expression. You don't get you don't get like what would make that scene powerful. You're not just watching geese fly. You're watching a child leave the nest for the first time and really grow and become his own person, his own goose, not own person, his own being. You see, if you're watching that without the expressions of these characters, you're just watching geese fly.
I would not connect the same way to a realistic-looking CGI goose.
No.
In fact, I'd probably not want to watch that because
part of what makes this movie really I really enjoy like seeing Bright Bill grow up. I think like the different there's like a couple iterations of his different ages, and like seeing his ages, like seeing him actually grow up, seeing him go from this like really cute little goose and kind of becoming bigger, like you feel like you watched like a child grow up. You've seen it, but like if you're just watching a goose, you're like, that's a goose.
Yeah.
You don't.
Like, not going to connect to that.
No, it's just going to be a little bit bigger.
In fact, forget Roz. I'm calling the geese monsters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hate geese. I truly a lot of the animals in this movie. If I saw them, I'm just like, no. Not a fan of that.
Yeah, no. Ashley enjoyed this movie. She would not enjoy a live action remake with real geese.
No, I think that was so much of the movie.
No. So okay, don't do that. Whoever's listening.
I can't. I think it was the same problem that the Lion King would have. But the most criticism that the live action Lion King got was the fact that they made the lions so realistic that there's no expression on their faces. You can't connect to Simba or Mufasa the same way that you would in the animated one, because that's just a lion. There's nothing that makes him special. There's nothing that really makes you want to care about them as much. You're just watching just some lions do something.
Yeah.
And it's the story that you recognize. They're going through the motions that you know, but they're not going through the emotions that you know.
Right. Funny story. We were gonna go see the prequel, the Mufasa prequel, for my birthday, but snowstorm. As you know, what happens when you're born in the winter.
Oh yes.
So
I
instead,
know very well.
we decided to just stay home and watch The Wild Robot. And in hindsight, I'm glad we didn't pay to watch Mufasa.
That's so much better.
It is so much better.
The universe niced you with that one.
Yeah, I did finally watch Mufasa when it landed on Disney Plus, and I was like, all right, it's fine.
Yeah, that sure was a movie.
Yeah. Same with the How to Train Your Dragon remake.
Is it any good? I haven't seen it yet, and I kind of have mixed opinions on if I want to watch it or not.
So I had nothing to do 4th of July, so I went to the theaters and I double featured it with the new Jurassic World, and I was kind of zoning out for most of the movie until the third act. Because I'm like, this is just the same thing that I saw like 15 years ago in theaters. Yeah. And like, I don't want to knock anybody because like everybody's doing a really good job, and like the CGI is good, and like I feel bad, but like
they didn't do anything to make it special.
No, they did very little changes. There is a subplot with Snotlout being neglected by his father, and I'm like, okay, thanks for that. And it doesn't help because the Snotlout is obnoxious as hell in this movie.
Yeah.
There's a little bit more with Hiccup and Astrid, which is nice. But yeah, it's kind of like Lion King in a sense that it's shot for shot.
Yeah.
So.
And they didn't add anything to really like build the emotions better or anything that would really make it so that live action is the way to see it. Like if you're going to experience that story.
Mm-hmm. Like the test drive scene. I was like, I'm very aware he's just riding a big hunk of green screen right now.
Yep.
And I'm like, I know like the original animated, but I still felt the scope better than I am feeling right now.
Yeah, so, exactly.
But yeah, it's a shot for shot, just kind of like the Lion King, except they're actually emoting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Do you think this film deserved to win the Oscar for Best Animated Feature?
Yes, I did. Granted, I did not see Flow.
Okay.
Where is it? Where can I watch that?
It's on HBO Max right now. I think.
Okay. Oh, I need to figure out how to get HBO
You've
Max.
heard me complain about Flow, probably.
I think so. I think I have.
Yeah.
I want to see it just so that I can compare the two of them, but it's the case of, like, The Wild Robot was so good that I cannot... How is Flow better than it?
I think the technical achievement is what gave it the win.
Oh, it was made in Blender, wasn't it?
It was made in Blender, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the premise is a little flimsy. Like
that, yeah.
And there's some really weird random moments throughout the film that I'm just kind of like, that doesn't add up. But I still enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as The Wild Robot, though.
Yeah. There's something... I appreciate the technical appreciation that it did, of it being made in like a free or like a easy access software.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's almost just a gimmick, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like there's something so special about like taking your time and making such a beautiful piece of art and then comparing it to something that the biggest achievement about it is kind of this gimmicky thing where they didn't watch Wild Robot and kind of just appreciate everything about it where it's special and everything. They're like, oh, this is a very cool, special thing.
I think the gimmick of the film was the fact that they didn't have dialogue. I think that was the gimmick, and I think because they decided no dialogue, and I'm sure there was probably a budgetary reason for that because you have to cast celebrities in your animated movies now. But like there's parts of the movie where like, okay, like they're supposed to be real animals, but does a bird know how to steer a boat? I don't know. And the irony of all of that, again, is because when I first watched the Wild Robot trailer, I was like, oh, are the animals going to talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I think it got robbed, but I also didn't see Flow, so I can't be like,
Yeah.
oh, this sucks in comparison. But at the same time, that truly, I remember reading the other options, and I remember thinking to myself, if Inside Out 2 wins, I'm gonna riot. Like, I have nothing against Inside Out 2. I thought it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if it loses, I'm going to freak out. Because this truly is such a, like, I don't want to call it a perfect movie,
Mm-hmm.
but there's so much going for Wild Robot that makes it special, unique, original, beautiful, incredible. All of those things that I'm like, if it doesn't win, that's such everyone's missing out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm trying to think what it was. Inside Out 2, Flow, Wild Robot. I think it was the new Wallace and Gromit.
Yes, Wallace
Yeah.
and Gromit was too.
Which, like, I would have been happy if that won, but we already had a Wallace and Gromit win an Oscar. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like the Wild Robot deserved to give DreamWorks another win. Also, the score was nominated too, and I was upset that it didn't win for that either.
Robbery.
Yeah.
I think people need to. In my opinion, that could have been up for Best Picture of all things as well. Like,
I think so.
Like, I don't understand why people can't watch an animated movie
Mm-hmm.
and go, yeah, this deserves to be talked about as a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Deserves the same accolades that just. If anything, animation's harder.
It is harder. It takes
And so
time.
it deserves just as much love and respect
Mm-hmm.
as a shot-for-shot live-action movie.
Yeah, and then the actors, they don't have a camera or a stage. They just have to use their voice.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's crazy that only 3 animated films have ever been nominated for Best Picture. When you think of, like, how many great animated films we've had.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so much power, so much emotion, so much that you can get from an animated movie
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes you can't even get in a live-action movie. And so this movie should have gotten so much more recognition than it did. This was the thing I was thinking about the other day too. How I think one of the reasons why this movie and a lot of other movies, animated movies that are coming out right now, something that's going not wrong for them, but their marketing is just terrible. I know you've been on a tirade about this on Instagram with a few, or not a tirade. I don't want to say tirade, but I remember you posted about like Elio the other day, how their marketing team needed
Oh
to
my
get
god. Such a good movie that the marketing failed.
I remember you posted about this for Elemental. I
Yeah.
remember you posted about this for a few different movies.
Mm-hmm.
How marketing for animated movies is awful these days.
It is awful.
There's no, and I think especially for movies that have come out from like big movie studios, Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks. I think one thing that really doesn't work in their favor of modern movies is people will compare them to the movies that they know and from their past.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think a lot of people aren't watching modern Pixar because they're like, well, it's not Cars, well, it's not Toy Story.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's not going to stack up to the movies that came out when I was younger, and
Mm-hmm.
and part of it comes back to like you're not a kid anymore, so you're not watching it, or like that's not what you
Mm-hmm.
want to watch. But people are comparing it immediately to movies that they used to watch,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking, oh, it's not going to be as good as this movie, so I'm not going to spend my money or my time watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, where I think it's a DreamWorks movie, and I think one of the things that worked for me was that I forgot that it was a DreamWorks movie because I couldn't compare it to Shrek or the Bee Movie or anything like that. I couldn't be like, oh, it's not going to be as good as those movies because I was just like, oh, it's an animated movie that looks fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go watch this. I don't have the ability to be like, oh, it's not Megamind, so I'm not going to watch it.
I think it's weird because, like, ever since Robin Williams was the genie, like, the big takeaway, the wrong takeaway that everyone took from that movie was, oh, if we cast big celebrity names in our animated movies, people will go see them. And you see that a lot. Like, the celebrity voices come up in big caps in the trailer. And the modern Pixar, well, first of all, modern Pixar doesn't have a lot of big names in it. And even if they did, they don't advertise it. What Pixar trailers often do is they say, from the studio that brought you, XYZ that you liked before.
Exactly.
And I remember with the trailer for the new one, not Elio, the one that's coming out next year, Hoppers, it said, from the studio that brought you Inside Out 2, and then I kid you not, you can look this up, it literally went Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm like, are you trying to be funny? Because I'm not laughing. I don't want a fifth one.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So.
It really is like that's kind of the selling point that they're trying to get, but they're also kind of losing people with that as well, especially if you're using like the Toy Stories as an example.
Yeah.
People love Toy Story 1, people love Toy Story 2, people like Toy Story 3, and nobody talks about Toy Story 4.
No.
So as you keep because I think that's also what leads into people making remakes, because they're the story that people recognize. So they're like, oh, you loved Cars? Let's make a live-action Cars. I'm just using that as an example.
Oh my God.
But it's like, if
Don't put that out there.
Yeah, no, truly, I think I made a mistake. I should have used one that people... You loved How to Train Your Dragon? Here's a live-action version of it.
And we're already getting a second one.
They are doing a second one?
They're already doing a second How to Train Your Dragon remake, which will probably be a shot-for-shot of How to Train Your Dragon 2.
Of course. Of course it would be.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's kind of why people are being lost right now, because they're judging on two fronts. They're judging, okay, it's not a movie I recognize, or it's a movie I recognize but I don't want to see again. So people aren't seeing new original animated movies because they don't already have the immediate connection to it, or they know the immediate connection and they're like, well, it's not going to be as good as the first one. So animation is kind of in a weird loop right now of they have to kind of break out, but they're not marketing it in a way that people will know. Like, half the new Pixar movies that have come out, I haven't even seen anything for them. I didn't know that Elio existed until I saw you post about it.
Wow. And my friend Tom was like, I'd never seen a single trailer.
Exactly. I don't know what it's about. I don't know what it is. Truly. I know the name and that's it. I couldn't tell you anything about it. I assume there's a character in it named Elio.
Actually.
Shockingly.
Yeah.
But I feel like they aren't putting enough, I don't want to say not enough effort, but they're not using their, like, I think that was the thing that made Barbie so powerful, was that everyone knew that Barbie was coming out, whether you knew or cared about Barbie. Like, I was not a Barbie kid when I was younger, but the second that Barbie started putting out, like, the posters and, like, just putting up, like, pink anything or, like, you'd see anything related to Barbie and you're like, I'm getting excited. I'm going to go see this movie. Like, I know that's not an animated movie. However, they put in so much effort to making that movie. So a lot of people are excited to see the new Fantastic Four movie that's coming out because they've put in so many resources to marketing it properly. Like, people in an era where people are tired of Marvel, so many people are excited for the Fantastic Four movie right now because they're marketing it properly.
Yeah.
They're not marketing it the same way that they have marketed every other Marvel movie in the past, which people are getting tired of. They're not marketing it as a remake, which I guess it is, but they're marketing it as this new, fresh concept.
Yeah, they're leading into the aesthetic of, like, old-timey 1950s stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So because they're doing something that is different, they're marketing it in a different way, people are excited. Because it's something new, but it's something that they're familiar with it enough that they're like, oh, okay, I have a general idea of what I'm getting into, but it also looks good, so I'm going to go see it.
Yeah, Pixar needs a new marketing team. And, you know the trend? It's like the new meme trend where, like, someone says, like, the truth like this, and then they're like, who said that? Pixar actually did that themselves, where they're, like, saying, like, oh, you want original films, but maybe you should go see them instead of seeing every other sequel. And I was like, wow, Pixar said the quiet part loud. And then, like, everybody's, like, getting at him, like, aren't you making Toy Story 5 and Incredibles 3? And, like, yeah, they are, but that's because you didn't see Elio and Elemental.
Exactly.
And this is why we're getting Coco 2.
Fantastic movie. I remember, I didn't know anything about it. This is another movie that you would text me, you need to go see this urgently. And I went, done. I will go see it. And I watched it, and I was, like, in tears. I was like, this is phenomenal. Why is no one talking about this?
Because, again, marketing, like, everybody thought, like, oh, it's a funny rom-com about fire and water. No, it's not.
There's so much to it.
Yeah.
It's truly, like, and it's not just some silly rom-com. There's, for a PG movie, oh my god, it's, like, heavy.
Generational trauma and, like, the immigrant experience and xenophobia. Like I said, like, this is the best thing Pixar's done and in a long time, and nobody's seeing it.
Truly, I was, my jaw was on the floor when I watched it, and I'm like, why is no one caring about this?
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the most powerful movies I've seen in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
For every reason imaginable.
Yeah.
Why is no one talking about this? And bringing it back to Wild Robot.
I know, it's like,
bringing it back.
remember the Wild Robot?
Yeah, we're just ranting now.
Mm-hmm.
But like bringing it back to this, I don't feel like, I think it was marketed a little bit better because like
Mm-hmm.
I guess I hadn't heard of it, but I was also kind of locked in on schoolwork at that time, so I wasn't paying too close attention. But it came up front and center when we opened whatever it was live on. It was one of the first ones in there, and so we saw that it was an option. We're like, I guess we could watch it, but like neither of my parents knew anything about it, so it was like, okay, I guess we're just gonna watch this because it's here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like it could be so much more if people knew about it more. If it was marketed similar to some of these other movies that are getting their love, this movie could have been huge.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it's a small movie by any chance, but I think that if they had marketed it even more, they could have done something really powerful with it and brought eyes back to DreamWorks or just animation in general.
Yeah. We're in trouble. That's why we're getting Toy Story 5. And we're getting Wild Robot 2 someday.
This is actually something that I was talking about with Katie last night, actually. So, to go back on another tangent, I saw an Instagram reel the other day that was like, Cars 2 is underrated, and here's why.
Keep going.
Hear me out. Cars 2 is judged heavily for being a very weird movie because it's the sequel to Cars. Not because it's a bad movie, but because it was the sequel to Cars. The first Cars is very slow-paced, very character-driven, a story of Lightning and Mater meeting, growing as characters, learning to, like, accept the environment around them, and they go from there. They both understand each other a little better. Slow-paced, good stuff. Cars 2 is a action-packed spy thriller with some racing also a part of it. Cars 2 gets flack for being insane, but it's a very beautiful movie. The writing could be good if you weren't invested in the idea of what you think of Mater or Lightning already.
Okay.
Because the reason that it's strange is because you're like, why is Mater in this situation?
Yeah.
If you were to see this movie as just a different Pixar movie, it could work. But it's weird because it's Cars 2. If it was just a different movie unto itself, it could have worked. But it's weird because it's Cars 2. And that's why people really enjoy Cars 3, because it makes more sense as a sequel to Cars.
Then it goes back to cars doing car things.
Exactly. It's the more slower-paced, character-driven kind of racing story. And Cars 2 is weird because it's in the middle of that. But it's not... People think it's a bad movie because it's a bad sequel. It could be a good movie. It's a bad sequel. So I think one of the biggest things that's important when you're making a sequel is you have to make a good movie, but also a good sequel. It needs to make sense as a continuation to its predecessor, while also actually carrying on the quality that the first one had.
Yeah, I hear you. I still don't love Cars 2, but I hear you.
I haven't seen Cars 2 in a very long time, but I think that it made sense. Where I think part of the reason that Cars 2 may not be Pixar's greatest work, but it would be better if it were a standalone film and not the sequel to Cars.
It's like a longer version of those like shorts where like Mater has a different job every time.
That's exactly what the guy said in the Instagram reel. He's like, this is an extended version of Mater's Tall Tales.
Yeah. They were trying to bank on the Mater's Tall Tales success, and
Exactly, and it doesn't work because it feels weird in the Cars universe.
Yeah.
If you had taken out the idea of it being Cars, it could have worked.
I remember a YouTuber I watch, he talked about how Cars 2 just essentially breaks the universe because there's a car pope. And so there's a car, like, was there a car Jesus?
I love the idea of there being, like, airport security. Was there a car 9/11?
Oh my god.
Like, how did that work?
That's worse because then, like, the planes did it.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh man. Anyway, so that's what I have to say on that front. So if they do make a sequel to Wild Robot, I think that they have the ability to continue the quality of it if they find the people who care about the story the correct way.
Mm-hmm.
But they would have to figure out the best way to really make sure that it fits as a continuation.
They do have. There's 2 more books in the series, so they could pull from the second book.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen Chris Sanders direct a sequel to one of his films. They could do the How to Train Your Dragon thing and have Dean DeBlois take over for the sequels. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Dean, if you're listening, you're probably not. That's okay.
Dean, if you are listening, it's okay. Please comment. Let us know.
Would you direct the Wild Robot 2? I know you're stuck in How to Train Your Dragon remake work right now, but blink twice if you need us. So this film, I didn't put this in the sheet before I sent it to you, but this film is not even a year old. I've seen it move from Peacock to Netflix already, like in just a short amount of time. What are your thoughts on this current industry epidemic where media is often held behind paywalls of streaming services and pulled offline at random? Sometimes, like, you can't even see a movie at all because it just doesn't exist out there. Unless, and I don't know why I'm doing this, it's not like I'm promoting the film, you buy it.
Physical media!
Yeah.
I hate it, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I think, because I understand it being, like, on a streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fine in itself, but the fact that it's, like, such a cash grab for, like, which streaming service gets to keep it, I think is ridiculous. And that kind of just goes for an entire rant on streaming services themselves. This is how I felt about, like, Community, because I first watched it on Netflix.
Yep.
And then I remember once I finished it, I'm like, well, where is it? I want to, like, rewatch some episodes. And it yanked and got put on Hulu. And I'm like, well, I've been logged out of Hulu for years because I don't even know my password. So now I have to go find my password to Hulu just to go rewatch Community. And then by the time I get there, there's episodes that have been yanked for, like, back when the Dungeons and Dragons episode.
The Dungeons and Dragons episode, yeah.
Like, how did, like, that got yanked? So it's like, okay, well, that's a great episode, but I can't watch it.
Never gonna see that again unless you own it on DVD.
Exactly, because it got yanked.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, the control of, like, being past, especially with going back to Wild Robot, I think I watched it on Peacock, and then now everybody got yanked and put to Netflix, which is good, but at the same time, imagine that I didn't have those subscriptions. Maybe I just had maybe I just had Netflix. So now I can't watch a movie that I want to watch because I thought it was on somewhere, but it got moved over to somewhere else.
Right.
So having to do this little game of, like, okay, where can I find it is really annoying because now you have to have every single streaming service in order to find the movies that you want to watch. Where it's like, okay, I wanted to watch it while it was on Peacock because I had it, but now I have to watch it in this time frame because now it got moved over. Or, like, okay, I didn't have it before, but I'm going to get Netflix to do it, but I'm not going to cancel my Peacock subscription to go to it. So now I just have to have everything. You have to have access to everything in order to get there. But maybe I don't want to watch anything else on Peacock, so I got Peacock just to watch this. So it's this stupid little roundabout.
Yeah.
Of having to go everywhere just to find one thing.
Where is it?
Even, like, before, where I was like, I do want to watch Flow, but where is it? Oh, it's HBO Max. That's just another option. And that means I have to Google where everything is. I have to find it in advance before I go. I can't just open a streaming platform and watch something now.
Right.
I have to know where it is to go find it. This is a thing I didn't realize I was angrily passionate about.
No, it's good. I'm glad you're passionate about it because, like, unless it's a Disney movie, you don't really know where it's gonna go.
Exactly.
And, like, it's funny because, like, sometimes a movie will be available on, like, 3 different streaming sites, and then, like, one movie will not be anywhere at all.
Exactly. The other day, I think this was a few weeks ago, Katie and I were both in the kitchen and we were talking about watching a show, but I don't remember what it was, and we don't remember what platform it was on. And so we opened Netflix, Hulu, Disney, HBO, and Peacock, and Apple TV, all just trying to remember what TV show we had talked about watching, or like what we were gonna. And we're like, why did we just open 6 different platforms just to try to even think about what it is that we were trying to watch? It ended up being Andor. We were talking about Andor.
Okay.
Yeah, she had seen it and I hadn't, so she wanted to show me Andor.
Did you finish Andor?
No, we got through one episode.
I haven't even started.
This was like last week. We haven't. Yeah, this was last week. But we went in a whole circle. We opened 6 different things, just trying to jog our memory as to what it was we wanted to watch, which just feels ridiculous.
Yeah, I love Disney Plus, but I also hate the fact that like every company needs their own streaming service now.
Right?
Like, do you remember the day when everything was just on Netflix?
Yeah.
Like, it's absurd.
I remember the days before we had Hulu and we were just watching it and we were just like, do we have to get Hulu? Well, I guess this is on it, so we have to do it. But, like, nobody cared about it beforehand.
And, like, there's, like... So I love Cheers and I love Frasier, and those were shows that aired on NBC, so they were on Peacock for a long time.
Right.
But then because Paramount, like, they were filmed at Paramount Studios, I guess, then they went to Paramount Plus, and I'm like, okay, so now I have to get Paramount Plus now, if I ever want to watch that show again. So,
yeah. This is a thing that I didn't even realize that like I had pent up aggression towards, but it
Good.
really
Welcome.
kind of it's a terrible cycle of like, okay, you have to be locked in if you want to enjoy media. You have to have every possible option to watch it, and even if it so say that like I love Stranger Things, but I don't love other things on Netflix. I'm keeping Netflix so that I can just go back and watch Stranger Things.
I know we've gone on angry rant tangents like 5 times in an hour and a half. I have to just complain about these new Stranger Things seasons where episodes are 2.5 hours apiece.
Dude,
what are we doing?
That's such a waste.
Like, those are movies.
It really is.
Yeah.
One of the things that's really nice about the first season of Stranger Things is how it's just like, it's very simple. Like, it's, you sit down, you watch it, it's your episode. Oh yeah, I've got time for another one. Oh, it's 2 a.m. now? Or now that I'm watching the new season? What do you mean?
See, I'll never catch up now because, like, season 4 is the equivalent of watching all the Mission Impossible movies.
For real?
It's Mission Impossible. Yeah.
The other thing, and this just drives me insane, is the fact that they, like, will release part of a season. So it's like, okay, you can release, you can watch half the season, but you can't finish it. You have to wait until this time. And I'm like, I get that they're trying to build suspense, but either release all of it at once or release it week by week. Because I'm not going to binge just half a season and then nothing. I think that is stupid. Like, I get what they're trying to do, but I don't like it.
Yeah. It's before your time when episodes just aired one at a time on television.
I
miss that, though. I miss weekly television sometimes.
I think a lot of people really liked when The Last of Us did that, because it felt like there was a sense of community every week where they were like, oh, did you see the new episode? Like, talking about this and then being excited for the next things. I haven't watched any shows like that as of recently, but I do know that there is some nice camaraderie that comes with it, that people enjoy having their weekly television.
Yeah. I know Disney likes to do that, where they'll do one a week, which is nice. Yeah. Hey, remember the Wild Robot?
Remember Wild Robot? That's what we're here to talk about.
As we approach the end of our hour. It's okay. That's normal for us. What do you think allows audiences to connect with the Wild Robot and hence allowed viewers like you and me to keep talking about this movie and spreading its praises?
I think this movie really can appeal to any demographic. I think with the way that it's animated, the way that you can watch Bright Bill grow up, I think a lot of things can appeal to children in their sense. But even as somebody who's in their 20s, I can watch just the idea of growing up you know other people like your age that are having children around as well, so you can see them like going through motherhood. You can find other people around you who are mothers and have watched people grow up. There's literally any demographic that you can come up with has something that can appeal to you about this movie. There's no sense of like it's just a children's movie. Children will watch it and they'll enjoy it. This is one that parents can watch, and it's almost even more for them than it is for the child themselves. Even somebody in between that can really watch it and just understand the sense of growing up and finding your family, finding your community, finding what you're passionate about. Because I think that that's really the number one biggest thing that everyone in the world needs to find. Find where you belong and find what you like. And you can see Roz get lost in herself, learning to become a mother, learning that she really does love this baby, even though that's not what she thought she was supposed to do, what she was supposed to love. And you can kind of see it, because love comes in strange places. You never really know where it's going to come from. So to kind of watch the shift through, and I think one thing about this movie that is, I would have brought up earlier, but I forgot. The pacing of the movie, the way that the movie grows on itself is beautiful. Like, I know I talked about how much I love the way that the exposition of this movie sets everything up, but, like, you can kind of see where, like, each act shifts on itself. You can watch it go from, okay, she's clueless, okay, now she has a family, she's starting to grow, okay, now we're getting to some more climactic stuff, okay, now we're getting into resolution. Like, it feels like you know exactly what stage of the movie you're at as it's growing on itself. Like, the story, the writing of it, it builds on itself so beautifully, and it wraps itself up so well. And every character, you can feel, like, a little sense of, like, empathy for everyone. Even a robot who originally doesn't have an emotion. You find empathy for her as she grows because she learns her own emotions.
Yeah, I love the pacing of this. It definitely like takes you through the stages of being a parent. Like, in the beginning, she doesn't know what she wants to do, or she doesn't know how to do it. Then we get the rebellious teen years, and then he goes off on his own, and then you cut to the point where, like, Roz, the mom, says, "You're grown up now. You don't need me anymore." But then at the end, it's like, you always still need your parents. Yeah.
No matter how much you feel it, you need your family, whether that is your actual legitimate family or your found family, anything like that. You need this sense of family connection. And obviously Roz and Brightbill have that themselves, but the whole island has become an extended family for them. That everyone in families have their little argument. There's always going to be the little people that don't necessarily mesh with each other, and that's kind of a good symbol for the island, where it's going to chase you again on Monday.
Yeah. Or the beaver, like, you have to say I'm cool, and you can't lie.
Exactly. Like, there's always going to be these, like, little shifts, like, little things. But at the end of the day, they do love each other because they live in harmony with each other.
Yeah.
The island is its own community. They found their family there, and that having your place is important. And it is another thing to have your passion on top of that as well.
So why do you think people should see this film?
Because it is beautiful in every sense of the word. It's beautiful in the sense of the visual. It's beautiful in the sense of the audible. It's beautiful in the messages that you get. It's beautiful in the connections that every character has to each other. It's beautiful in the sense of watching everyone individually grow. It's beautiful to watch the movie itself grow. The growth and passion and love that this movie exudes is transcendent upon something that should just be an animated movie. It, like, anything that makes you tear up at the idea of a robot and a goose learning to fly, that's a crazy sentence that I just said. But every time that we've talked about the can you give me a boost scene? That's like, it's beautiful. Like, that is just it's beautiful.
I well up at the sight of a goose hugging a robot.
Right?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Like, that's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
But it's it's a universal experience for anybody who watches this movie. It's beautiful.
Yeah. This is something that I started doing with a lot of my repeat offenders. And in hindsight, I wish I decided to do it with you sooner. Because now you have 11 films. Kind of 11-ish. Where did I put it? Okay. Yeah. Do you think you could rank The Wild Robot amongst all the films that have mattered to you? I'm not counting the Christmas special because we talked about like 20 movies.
Yeah.
No. You could just say Fat Man. Yeah.
I think so. I think I've given in, and I have officially determined that Big Hero 6 is my favorite movie ever. For a very long time,
I knew you were going to say that.
For a very long time, I was saying that Ferris Bueller was my number one, and I think it's still number 2 on the list. But like the way that I have found that I talk about Big Hero 6, it has to be my number 1. Like there's no other movie that I feel that way about. I think. Did we talk about the Avengers? Or did
so I have here Big Hero 6, La La Land, Amazing Spider-Man, Kingsman, Guardians of the Galaxy, in which we talked about like all 3 of them, Barbie, and now this. And then we did edgy Santa films, so we'll just say we know Fat Man's your favorite. What?
Well, yeah, Fat Man is the best of
Fat Man is the best of those 3, so yeah.
Okay. Yes, okay. I had to write them down so that I could see them and think about them as I rank them. Big Hero 6 is easily my number 1. I think Kingsman is my number 2. Because I think I consider that as like my 4th favorite movie of all time. I think La La Land is probably very close to it. I'll put it at 3rd.
Nice.
Probably those 2 are comparable. I think they could interchange for 4th and 5th of my favorites of all time. So I'll put them kind of 2 and 3 respectively.
Okay.
Man, I gotta put Guardians up there right after that. I think Guardians has touched me in a way that I didn't think that
a raccoon could.
Yeah, I didn't think a raccoon would make me cry 6 times in 2 hours, but hey, here we are. Amazing Spider-Man and Wild Robot are fighting for their position right under Guardians, I think.
Okay.
Because I think Spider-Man has the longevity for me, where I've loved those movies since 2012 when they first came out. And Andrew Garfield will forever and always be my Spider-Man. But Wild Robot has, like, the emotional depth of a movie that I was just like, this is a recommendation. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to cry over it. I'm going to enjoy every aspect of it. So I feel like it can't be towards the bottom of the list. So I feel like maybe, yeah, we'll go Wild Robot over Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay. But
Andrew Garfield, I love you, and I always will. And it feels weird for Barbie and Fat Man to be fighting for a similar position on this list.
You're going to put Fat Man above Barbie, aren't you?
I don't know. I feel like... You know what's weird? I think I've seen them the same amount of times, too.
I think I have, too, actually.
Because I was going to be like, I've seen Fat Man more than Barbie, maybe. But I think I've seen both of them 3 times.
I've seen Barbie 3 times. I feel like I might have seen Fat Man 3 times. Maybe more. I don't know.
So it's kind of tough, and they're fighting for. Unfortunately, they're fighting for the bottom slots, but that doesn't mean that they aren't.
Doesn't mean you love them any less.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I love them any less.
What a double feature!
Combo to put at the bottom. That's
what a double feature! Move over Barbenheimer. It's now Barb Man Summer.
Barb Man, let's go.
Barb Man. I'm not gonna say Fat Barb, but
Barb. Fat B. So yes, we've got a lot of choices here, a lot of very different movies, but ultimately, every single one of them, you can draw back to finding your passion and finding where you belong. That's the premise of Big Hero 6, the premise of La La Land, Spider-Man, Guardians, Barbie, Fat Man. Wild Robot, all of them have the common thread of find what you're passionate about and find where you belong.
Mm-hmm. And now as we add another movie to your list, why does The Wild Robot matter to you?
It matters to me because you connect to it in a way that you don't expect to. Mm-hmm. You kind of just think you're going to watch a romp of a robot learning to manage himself on an island, but you can see yourself in every character in it, or at least I see myself in a lot of characters in it. Going back to like watching it with my parents and connecting and thinking about the experiences I've had with them and how much I relate to them, going back to the idea of me looking at my cat and going, that's my child, I care for it. Having these experiences of like thinking about your own life after you watch a movie and how you relate to everything around you is powerful, and you really do think about where you live, where you belong, your family, who you connect to, even in the strangest of ways. You know who you love, and you realize that you have this connection, and you learn to have it over time, and you grow with it.
Nice. That's beautiful. Yeah.
And yeah, I think no other word sums up why this movie matters other than it is beautiful in all senses of the word.
Wow. Task complete, Liz. Task complete. Nice full circle moment to start your tenure on the show with a robot movie, and now here we are 11 in with another robot movie. I love that.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
That's perfect.
I love it.
Definitely not your last time on the show, though.
Absolutely not. A little foreshadowing. I'm going to be back soon.
Yeah, but now we know we can do this over Zoom. So
this was fantastic. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I love modern technology. All right.
Great stuff. Thank you, Zoom.
Thank you, Zoom, and thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Chris.
And thank you all for listening to another episode of Movies That Matter. We will have another episode coming up very soon. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts. If you'd like to get in touch with me about the show, you can reach me either at Gmail or Instagram at Movies That Matter Pod. Don't forget to like and follow. You can also be my friend on Letterboxd at Chris Loves Films. At this time, my last 4 watches were Looper, The Wild Robot, believe it or not, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. It's a great movie. And folks, the real world is scary, and it seems to be getting scarier every time I say this. Don't forget to love each other, and when life gets too scary, immerse yourself in your favorite movie or piece of media. Don't worry about box office numbers or Rotten Tomatoes scores. Watch what you love. Entertainment is subjective, and that's not a bad thing. Until next time, this has been Chris Flaherty. Thank you for listening to Movies That Matter.